Luke Getsy. Luke Getsy, hired by the Chicago Bears as their offensive coordinator with Matt Eberflus. I mean, this hire is patently it's pretty damn absurd. I mean, this guy was a quarterback coach for Aaron Rodgers, and now he gets promoted to an offensive coordinator spot when really he was the third one in command. It wasn't like this guy was a previous offensive coordinator. He wasn't even the second in command to the offensive coordinator. Because it isn't like, Eric Bieniemy, where Eric Bieniemy is calling the plays and Andy Reid's the head coach. Because Nathaniel Hackett was also on this staff. So I don't think this guy has any play calling experience. And you're going into a situation with a defensively led head coach in Matt Eberflus that's never coached offensive football ever. And now you're relying on a guy that really in Luke Getsy that really hasn't, called plays. And, you look at even like Dan Mullen, who's a fired college coach, has called plays for a really long time. You could have looked at him. I mean, Joe Brady's been an offensive coordinator now for a little while. I know it didn't go well in Carolina, but there's a lot of offensive coordinators that are still out there that can be like really good resources to run your offense. Like even Darrell Bevell, I guess you could say whatever you want about Darrell Bevell. But, like Shane Waldron, or you look at somebody from Sean McVay's staff, maybe they take somebody from Green Bay. And it's certainly, a very interesting situation. I would have looked at Miami like Charlie Fry. I don't know if this guy, Luke Getsy, is he going to get the best out of, Justin Fields? I mean, you look at Luke Getsy's, resume, and, he was in Green Bay for a long time, several years, so he must have blown them away in the interviewing process. But I just think like even Pep Hamilton, who was down in Houston, there's a lot of guys that I think could have been like really, decent offensive coordinators, because the offensive coordinator like Luke Getsy is just as important as Matt Eberflus. So you're pretty much hiring Luke Getsy to be responsible for 50% of your team, because he's going to be organizing everything on offense. I mean, John Dorsey, you could pay John Dorsey a good amount of money for him to leave Buffalo. So, I mean, I know that Dable, he's trying to bring Dorsey over. It's just interesting to me, because he's third in command. Greg Romans is the offensive coordinator for the Ravens, but there's probably somebody assisting him. But in Green Bay, it was Matt LaFleur. Before it was McCarthy, but it's Matt LaFleur. Then it's Nathaniel Hackett. Then you get down to a strictly quarterbacks coach. So it's not even like you're second in command. And also, you look even at Ohio State. I would even look at an Ohio State staffer that like Brian Hartline, or somebody that worked directly with Justin Fields, or somebody that worked in the hurry-up offense. I mean, I frankly do not really understand this hire of a quarterback coach. I mean, this hire is the most important hire. And if Luke Getsy is brilliant, hey, I'll give them credit on this move. I think it is a ballsy move by the Chicago Bears, one that I am very skeptical of, to say the least, when Luke Getsy was hired. Because you have Pep Hamilton, you have, all these guys that are out there. Even Jay Gruden has called plays before. So you're getting a guy that's like never really called plays. He is on the younger side. He's like 38 years old, and he's kind of been in the same system. He's been in the Green Bay system for a really long time. And I believe that Justin Fields, I thought Matt Nagy would be better because of the spread, but is Luke Getsy going to get, QB run game rolling? Is he going to be really good with this offensive line? Luke Getsy has to ride out the entire ship. So now you have Eberflus, you have Luke Getsy. I mean, are these players going to really like this coaching staff? It's a very serious coaching staff. Are they really going to enjoy it? I mean, even the QB coach in Atlanta, is a guy that, and Dave Rigoni, he worked in Chicago. That's a guy that again has a lot of experience. Mike McDaniel, you should probably throw Mike McDaniel like a lot more money, or Kellen Moore. You can throw those guys more money because, again, they're going to be the head offensive coordinator rather than they're just another offensive coach on their coaching staffs. Kevin O'Connell. I mean, Shane Waldron was an offensive coordinator. He ended up going to Seattle. So, guys like Kevin O'Connell, they want to show that they can do it without Sean McVay. All right. A lot of guys out there want to show that they can be an offensive coordinator by themselves. You look at Charlie Fry, who was a quarterback, who was a play caller with Tua Tagovailoa. So there's a lot of guys that are waiting to get out of the shadows and be, the offensive coordinator. So it's a very, very interesting hire. I guess for continuity's sake, or, the McCaskey family has such respect for Aaron Rodgers. So really it's the tree of Aaron Rodgers. It's Nathaniel Hackett, and now it's Luke Getsy. It's Josh Allen and Brian Dable. So right now you're taking from the best of the best quarterbacks, and then it comes down to the argument, is it a 50-50 partnership? Is it the player? Is it the play caller that deserves the credit? There's just so much that kind of goes into this move.